sun was shining down. It didn't stop the rainfall and the steam danced on the ground. I was drinking courage from a flip-top can, and you were somewhere wondering how and where I am. I'm still alive, I'm alright. I'm getting over last night. Feeling good, yeah, real nice. I'm 2 doors down from paradise. Wednesday brings the paper and the funny page. The mirror shows the miles and the paper knows the age. Me, I felt better, but I felt worse. A different pen and paper, you just rearrange the verse. I'm still alive, I'm alright. I'm getting over last night. Feeling good, yeah, real nice. 2 doors down from paradise. On the stage, lightning, wolf, and mud, and Texas swing the purple haze. $1 in my bucket, you name a song to play, and listen to me all night long and don't hear a word I say. I'm still alive, I'm alright. I'm getting over last night. Feeling good, yeah, real nice. 2 doors down from paradise. We the roadies, we the soundmen, we the singers, we the bands. So give us all some credit, give us all a hand. You'll be going home soon to your little hell. We'll be up here on the stage playing with ourselves. I'm still alive, I'm alright. I'm getting over last night. Feeling good, yeah, real nice. 2 doors down, yeah, still alive, I'm alright. I'm getting over last night. Feeling good, yeah, real nice. I'm 2 doors down from paradise. I'm 2 doors down from paradise. 2 doors down.
Drive out of the city, the valleys of unknowns. The buildings fall into the waters that made these streets and homes. The tracks are there, but the most are still like the empty railroad yards. Place once held and hardy, now played out of its cards. In the day, you should have seen this place.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Good morning, Jammers. Welcome to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. I am your host, Brad Brock. Thank you for joining me here on this Monday morning, Monday Funday, as I like to call it. A nice extension of the weekend, if you will. appreciate you tuning in over on YouTube, Facebook, or our companion and partner radio stations, JNC Radio on the Live 365 app, and, of course, a brand new edition, the Shore Life Radio, over on the TuneIn app or on shoreliferadio.com. We appreciate you tuning in this morning wherever you happen to be tuning in. We hope that you maybe visit our YouTube channel and smash the subscribe button, hit the little bell for notifications whenever we're going live here. I tell you what, it's quite a difference of weather that we're experiencing this morning. But welcome. I don't know about you, but I try to take care of my yard as well as possible. And sometimes, I'm busy through the week and not able to get out there and run the sprinklers when it's really dry out. And it's been pretty dry here on the Treasure Coast of Florida. But not this morning. No. This is definitely raincoat weather, umbrella weather. And if you're in the Treasure Coast or most of Florida area, we hope that you have an umbrella in your car and you're taking your raincoat with you. Speaking of the weather, all of this is happening because there's two cold fronts rolling through this week. One is coming in right now, and another one's going to be moving in on Thursday. Cold front will move in around noon today. So this is all that's coming behind it. Highs are going to be near 80 before that front arrives, and then it's going to be staying in the mid-70s for the rest of the day here, and the Treasure Coast in the Palm Beaches. The front's going to spark a few showers, which we're experiencing right now. Maybe an isolated storm, but nothing severe. Just going to be nice and wet, getting into that grass, making it nice and wet out there. Drying out and staying mild on Tuesday. Windy and warmer again on Wednesday before the next front arrives on Thursday. And the next shot of showers are coming through. And a possible storm or two. That front appears to be a bit stronger, so there will be a more noticeable dip in the temperatures expected by the end of this week and weekend. But not too chilly. Just nice and comfortable, so not too shabby. Philip chiming in here with his irrelevant weather report. But more so, Philip, we're going to have to change it around now that we're broadcasting on Shore Life Radio. We have listeners all over the place, so it might not be as irrelevant as you think up in Tennessee. But this is Philip's Tennessee weather report. He says it's a cool start to the morning, a little overcast, a little drizzle. Same here. Warming up to about 48 degrees today, clearing later today. He said clear skies overnight, bring the temperatures down to around 27 degrees. And warming up to above 50 for the Tuesday. he admits that he's running behind a little bit this morning. But he's getting the weather report in. We appreciate it there, Philip. That weather report, of course, brought to you by Chesser Custom Designs, laser etching and engraving. Find them on Facebook. Anything like that. We also have some national days. Not many. Just two. Just two today. But they're pretty good ones. First off, it's National Handwriting Day. You guys remember handwriting? That was what we used to do before email and text messaging. You used to have to handwrite notes. You remember pens and pencils? Wonderful tools. National Handwriting Day on January 23rd encourages us to put pen to paper and write out our thoughts. According to the Writing Instrument Manufacturers Association, it's a chance for all to re-explore the purity and power of actual handwriting. That's right. While technology speeds up the writing process and makes communication more efficient worldwide, there's something to be said for writing thoughts longhand. Whether it's a journal, notes, or even a letter to someone, the act of writing with pen and paper is a supremely tactile and patient practice. If it does anything, it forces the body and mind to slow down and re-synchronize. Look around. In mere seconds, letters and words form when we text or email. Phones transmit our voices in real time, and once sent or said, those words cannot be recalled. Meanwhile, writing longhand feels like taking a deep breath. Jumbled thoughts must be sorted through before the ink spills onto a white page. I must count and be worthy of the lines that will fill it. It's an exercise in faith, and it requires practice, too. So, how can we observe National Handwriting Day? Whether you're out of practice or execute some beautiful handwriting, share a little handwritten message. And here's a few other ideas to try. You could start a journal. You could send a handwritten letter to a friend or family member. Write a short story or a poem. Take a calligraphy class. There you go. Write a to-do list. Leave a love note for someone dear to you. Compliment someone with a handwritten sticky note. Pay with a check if you dare. Leave your server a tip and a handwritten word of thanks for their service. So tons of things that you could do for National Handwriting Day. I, for one, handwrite stuff all the time. I have notes all over my desk, sticky notes, you name it. For me, it's just easier to jot things down than it is to type it out or punch it into my phone, because I come from the BlackBerry era. That was my heyday in cell phone marveling technology. Because let me tell you, I still to this day miss the little keyboard that the BlackBerry presented. Tapping on the screen is what we've got now, and it's the only thing available. But I do miss my little keyboard. That was a great time to be alive. All right, and next up on our National Day list, let's see. Oh, yes, we couldn't go a day without having a delicious one. It's National Pie Day. National Pie Day, January 23rd. Celebrates one of the nation's favorite desserts, no matter how you slice it. Pie in just about any form makes a crowd happy. Fruit pies, berry pies, cream pies. They are mouth-watering servings of homemade goodness. National Pie Day simply celebrates pie. Everyone's invited to bake their favorite pie, but more importantly, the day reminds us to enjoy eating pies. The only other question to ask is, will it be a la mode? Did you know the first pies appeared around 9500 BC in the Egyptian Neolithic period or the Stone Age? So humans have been eating pies for a very long time. And with so many to choose from, we shouldn't have any problem finding one we like. After all, we celebrate the day twice a year, plus their cousin, National Pie Day, P-I. So there you go, you guys. Get out there and eat some pie on National Pie Day. How about that? All right. Before we dive into our first musical break here, just some stuff to share that happened over the weekend. As mentioned on Friday, I was going to get my tooth fixed. I had a lovely snaggletooth that had been forming. So many years ago, I tripped and fallen, chipped my front two teeth. And so I went to a wonderful dentist many years. This is over a decade ago, and had some bonding done, and they looked great. It was a great job, but over the years, I have a tendency to grind my teeth, and that kind of thing. So the bonding had eroded over time. So I had this where the real tooth was still there. I had this kind of snaggletooth forming. And so I'm getting married in June, so I wanted to try to get my face fixed as much as possible before that day arrived. So I went and had it rebonded, which was a whole experience because you think you know what's going on in the dentist's office, and then you don't go for a while, and you come back and the technology has all changed, and it's wonderful. But had it all done. And here's the result. No more snaggletooth. How about that? So, yeah, I'm quite happy with the result. I'll have to post a before and after photo on our social media. But the guy did a great job, and I'm quite happy. In other news, yesterday here in the lounge, if you've been following us for years or or even if you're just following, we have a sugar ant problem, as many of you do. We call them ghost ants, sugar ants, you name it. They come in abundance, and they're everywhere. So I get these little ant traps, that you put around, and the ants love it, and they take it back to the nest, and it kills the ants. It's wonderful. So I had one of these laying around. Apparently, some of the stuff spilled out on the floor of our lounge here, and a lizard got stuck in it, in the goo. And I thought he was a goner. So I went to try to, scoop him up and realized he was still alive and full of life. And I was like, oh, no. So I tried to kind of gently get him out of the sticky. And it wasn't happening. And he was well stuck. So I was like, I don't know. My dude's going to have to die. I can't get him out. And then I felt terrible as I went around my business having to step over him. I was like, no. There's got to be a better way. And so as I was thinking, I was like, what if I just spray him with some water? Just like a little spray bottle. And maybe that would loosen up the sticky enough for him to get out of there. And it certainly did. And he was able to get free. He was spry and ready. And I kind of shooed him out of the lounge door into the wilderness, where hopefully he's thriving. I felt good about it. I felt good about saving a little life. I was so quick to give up. So the message here that I'm trying to send to you is don't give up. Don't give up. Just because you think all hope is lost, you could save the lizard too out there. There you go. That was my heartwarming story, that of a lizard out there doing his thing. And moving on from that, on our Jams and Cocktails live podcast this week on Wednesday, we had scheduled a wonderful artist, Victoria Lee. She pushed back her show until the following Wednesday, just because her schedule is really hectic, and we're totally okay with that. I know how hard musicians work, and sometimes you just want a day to decompress and regroup. So she's going to come on the following week, but this Wednesday, we're going to our backup theme. It's National Florida Day on Wednesday. So we are going to present to you an ode to the Florida man. Now, those of you that live in Florida, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that don't, perhaps you don't know about the Florida man, or only know what you've read in the papers or seen on social media. We're going to no bars hold, give you Florida man. We're going to do some Florida man shenanigans here on the show live. We're going to tell you some stories and other stuff that we're still kind of coming up with for the show. You're not going to want to miss it. Jams and Cocktails on Wednesday night. And we'll be broadcasting right here on YouTube, Facebook, JNC Radio, and Shore Life Radio. So wherever you're catching the show right now, just tune back in 8 p.m. on Wednesday with the Jams and Cocktails podcast, National Florida Day, ode to the Florida man. It's going to be a great time. All right, you guys, we're going to get to our first musical break here. And then we'll come back with some news. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. Here's one from Jesse Rice. This is Go Away Cloud. We'll be right back.
Don't want to see you when the sun comes out. I didn't fly all this way just to see no gray. Well, there's nothing to do when it rains on the island. Just sit back, no jive, smiling. Grab your guitar, drink from Patrick at the bar. Take a look around and remember where you are. Down in Hope Town, 10 toes in the sand. And everybody knows it's a mighty fine plan to just sit back, relax and unwind and be kind. And baby, wait until the warm sun shines. Go away, cloud. Don't wanna see you when the sun comes out. I didn't fly all this way just to see no gray. I wanna sit under a blue sky and take a little rum ride, soaking up the good life. So go away, cloud. Well, if you're feeling blue, let's get the jiving, kick off your shoes and go diving into the deep. Just you and me, find a conch shell and a coral reef under the sea. That's where we'll be, just waiting on the haze to be gone away, far away, and we can sing more songs on the ukulele. Like go away, cloud, don't wanna see you when the sun comes out. I didn't fly all this way just to see no gray. I wanna sit under a blue sky and take a little rum ride, soaking up the good life. So go away, cloud. Go away, cloud. All right. So go away, cloud. Don't wanna see you when the sun comes out. I didn't fly all this way just to see no gray. I wanna sit under a blue sky and take a little rum ride, soaking up the good life. So go away, cloud. Go away, cloud. Turn around and never come back. Go away, cloud. Go away, cloud. Turn around and never come back.
All right, welcome back to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. That was Jesse Rice with Go Away Cloud. Jesse Rice just celebrating a birthday last week. So happy birthday once again, Jesse Rice. All right. Getting into the news here. Well, some interesting stuff going on. Not a lot that I found interesting, but I thought this was an interesting article. You know, sometimes we like to get into science stuff here on the show. Today is no difference. So the question that you may ask yourself when you wake up in the morning sometimes, wipe the sleep from your eyes and shuffle your way to the bathroom, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, is the Yellowstone supervolcano really due for an eruption? Who doesn't ask themselves that? Well, I've got some answers for you. At least we hope. So here's a little backstory. Beneath Yellowstone National Park, a vast region of spectacular wilderness visited by around 3 million people annually, lurks one of the largest volcanoes in the world. The Yellowstone Caldera. The cauldron-like basin at the summit of the volcano is so colossal that it is often called a supervolcano, which, according to the National History Museum in London, means it has the capacity to, quote, produce a magnitude 8 eruption on the volcanic explosivity index, discharging more than 1,000 cubic kilometers of material, and that's 240 cubic miles. I know Mike Lubeck loves math. Well, I did the math for him there. Tune in on YouTube. So to put that into perspective, the 1991 eruption of the Pinatubo in the Philippines, arguably the most powerful volcanic eruption in living memory, was rated a 6 on the Volcanic Explosivity Index, making it, according to National History Museum, around 100 times smaller than the benchmark for a supervolcano. So, should we be worried? Will Yellowstone erupt anytime soon? Media reports have often claimed that Yellowstone is due to erupt. They claim that because the last eruption of the supervolcano was 70,000 years ago. So it's bound to blow soon, right? Well, that's not how volcanoes work, so rest assured. Michael Poland, a geophysicist and the scientist in charge at the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, said that this is perhaps the most common misconception about Yellowstone and about volcanoes in general. Volcanoes don't work on timelines. They erupt when there's enough eruptible magma beneath the surface and pressure to cause that magma to ascend. Neither condition is in place for Yellowstone right now, he added. It's all about that magma supply. Cut that off and the volcano won't erupt. It's science. Many volcanoes go through cycles of activity and inactivity. According to Michael Poland, he said, more often than not, a volcano's activity is a direct consequence of the magma supply. Some volcanoes do seem to have regular eruptions, but this is because the magma supply is relatively constant. Think Kilauea in Hawaii, which we talked about quite a bit on the show over the last couple of months, or Stromboli in Italy. So, next question, where does the idea of Yellowstone being, quote, overdue for an eruption come from then? Well, Michael explained, I suspect the overdue idea comes from the concept of earthquakes. Earthquakes happens as stress accumulates on the fault lines, and in many places this stress accumulates at relatively constant rates due to, for example, plate motion. That being the case, you might expect earthquakes to occur at a somewhat regular interval. It is, of course, more complicated than that. There are many variables at play, but for that reason it makes more sense to say that a fault is overdue for an earthquake. Poland also noted that, quote, supervolcanoes, a term he considers somewhat crude and sensationalist, are no more or less temperamental than other volcanoes. So how do experts keep an eye on Yellowstone's subterranean activities so that, in the case of a major volcanic eruption, warnings can be given? Well, he explained Yellowstone is a very well-monitored place by a variety of techniques. It's covered in terms of seismicity and ground deformation. We track the temperatures of some thermal features, although this is not an indicator of volcanic activity, but rather the behavior of specific hydrothermal areas. We look at overall thermal emissions from space, collect gas and water to assess chemistry over time, and track stream river flow and chemistry. So a lot of things going into play there to monitor Yellowstone and its various things going on. So, next question is, what might indicate that a massive eruption is imminent? Well, having thousands of earthquakes in a short period of time, within a few weeks, with many felt events, would be noteworthy. As long as it was not an aftershock sequence from a tectonic event, that seismicity would need to be coupled with really extreme ground deformation, like tens of centimeters over the same short period, park-wide changes in geyser activity and thermal gas emissions. The ground rises and falls normally by 2 to 3 centimeters every year. There are typically 2,000 quakes annually in the area. Can you believe that? So it would have to rise far beyond these normal background levels. So while Yellowstone is relatively stable right now, it's not displayed any unusual seismic activity lately. If it were to erupt, the consequences would be extreme. Volcanologists, that's a thing, have suggested that the ramification they are most concerned about is the wind-flung ash, which would end up coating a surrounding region 500 miles across and more than 4 inches of ash. This could, experts predict, result in the short-term destruction of Midwest agriculture and would leave scores of watercourses clogged. According to the U.S. Department of the Interior, the surrounding states of Montana, Idaho, and Wyoming that are closest to the Yellowstone Park would be affected by pyroclastic flows, and other places the U.S. would be impacted by falling ash. Michael Poland added that the effects would also be felt beyond the United States borders. He said if there were very large explosive, if it was a very large explosive eruption, it could impact the global climate by emitting ash and gas into the stratosphere, which could block sunlight and lower global temperatures by a few degrees for a few years. Yikes. Research published in the journal Science in December 2022 found that the Yellowstone caldera holds more liquid molten rock than previously estimated. Given that volcanoes tend to erupt only when a vast amount of magma is readily available, should this be cause for concern? Oh. This research really just confirms what we already know about Yellowstone, according to Michael Poland. Initial findings were that the magma chamber beneath Yellowstone was only 5 to 15% molten. The new research, which uses more advanced techniques but the same data, suggests that it's closer to 16 to 20% molten. The take-home message is that the magma chamber is mostly solid, and that means there is far less likelihood of a consequential eruption. And I, for one, find this reassuring. So there you go. Those of you that might be concerned about the explosion at Yellowstone, hopefully that puts your mind at ease that it's still pretty far off and that they're monitoring it around the clock. So there you go. Interesting stuff. That wasn't the case out in Hawaii, man. That thing was erupting like crazy out there on the Big Island. All right, next up in our stories here, I guess I could have gone to the slideshow. There's the caldera there. It's pretty magnificent. If you're watching the show, you can see the photo up on the screen. It's a pretty cool thing to see. If you guys been to Yellowstone, tell me all about it. It's on my bucket list of places to visit for sure. All right, next up in the news, Buzz Aldrin just celebrated his 93rd birthday. We talked about it just before the weekend. On the very same day, he also got married. How about that? Astronaut Edwin Buzz Aldrin announced on Facebook that he has married his longtime love in a small ceremony in Los Angeles. Aldrin, of course, who made history along with Neil Armstrong as the first humans to set foot on the surface of the moon, said the wedding took place on Friday, which was also his 93rd birthday. He went on to say, "I am pleased to announce that my longtime love and partner, Dr. Anka V. Fowler, and I have tied the knot. We were joined in holy matrimony in a small private ceremony in Los Angeles, and we're as excited as eloping teenagers," he wrote. I love that. The post received 53,000 Facebook likes and loves by Saturday and was accompanied by several photos of the newlyweds. If you're watching the show, you can see it. I have it up there on the screen. Lovely. Of course, on July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 astronauts Armstrong and Aldrin made their historic walk on the lunar surface, fulfilling a vow by the late President John F. Kennedy to send a manned crew to the moon and safely return them to Earth. Michael Collins, notably, was the third member of that crew. So congratulations to Buzz Aldrin on 93 years around the sun and the moon. And congratulations on your wedding as well. Lovely story. Love that. All right, getting into some entertainment news here. Ariana Grande, love her or hate her, the kid is insanely talented. And she's a Florida native, so we got to love her here, too. She's crazy, crazy good and a wonderful spirit. And she's got a lot going on. So much so that some people are calling her out, and she's turning her back on her music career. Well, that seems ridiculous to me. But we cover the news all the time, either here on this show or on the podcast in the Geordie Files. So we know that's not true. So the headline reads, Ariana Grande shuts down accusations that she's no longer a singer. Seems outrageous. It is true that Ariana Grande has been putting a lot of focus on her REM beauty line and her work on the Wicked movie musicals, but that doesn't mean she's hung up the microphone for good. The singer shut down comments accusing her of turning her back on her music career the best way that she knows how. By singing, of course. She shared a TikTok of her performing Judy Garland's Somewhere Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. Ari is swaddled in an oversized pink knitted hoodie as she belts out an acoustic and unedited version of the 1939 ballad. But before she even begins flexing her vibrato skills, she calls out those asking her, "Why aren't you a singer anymore?" By writing the question in alternating capital letters. You know the move. She also writes, quote, "is literally on set filming 2 musical movies all day, every day," end quote, with a spam of tearful emojis. Ariana also says she's pulled up her hood to hide how her hairstyle is, or hair is styled for the movie, and as she was getting ready for another day of filming. She captioned the clip, "wanted to sing you a little something, but don't want to sing anything that is not Ozian at the moment. Keeping to my little bubble for now, done with lots of love." So the first Wicked movie is expected to hit theaters in December 2024. Ariana has been cast as Glinda the Good Witch. I'm a fan of the Wicked musical, especially the original. I thought it was a wonderful cast and really well done and just historic. And I think she's going to do great. She's a wonderful singer. If you've ever seen her on the Jimmy Fallon talk shows and other things like that where she's just kind of winging it, man, that kid's got pipes. So check it out. I'm looking forward to seeing that film. And we know, at least here in the JNC world, Ariana, that you have not turned your back on music and that you're just doing your thing, girl. Keep it up. Love it. Next up in the news, do you want to fall asleep faster? Well, science is saying that listening to Billie Eilish and the K-pop band BTS might be what you need. Billie Eilish asked in her debut album, "When we fall asleep, where do we go?" Well, it turns out she may be the key to finding that out, based on a new scientific survey. NME reports Denmark researchers from the Aarhus University analyzed the music folks seek to help them fall asleep, and surprisingly, classical or calming music wasn't their top pick. Instead, it was Billie and BTS. The researchers analyzed over 1,000 Spotify playlists that had to do with falling asleep, which had them looking at over 200,000 songs. Turns out, instead of listening to Mozart or Enya, Spotify listeners tend to use songs that bring them comfort. As for the songs that made it onto the sleep-inspired playlist, researchers singled out BTS's Dynamite and Billie's Lovely, which is a collab with Khalid. The scientists say both songs exemplify tunes that are both comforting yet energetic, which could help people drift off into dreamland. But they also say more research is needed to prove this is the best music they're not off to. They note both artists are very popular right now, which could explain why they're on so many playlists. Scientists need to identify the various reasons different people choose different music for sleeping. On one hand, softer, slower, instrumental, and more often played on acoustic instruments than other music can help people fall to sleep. But their study displays a large variation, including musical characterized by high energy and tempo. Well, in all, they believe this study will be helpful to advance our understanding of how music is used to regulate human behavior in everyday life. There you go. Maybe Billie Eilish is your sleep jam. I don't know. I'm still on the fence about her music. I think that she's wonderful and is really paving her own way in the music world and in life. So I think she's great. I'm still on the fence about her music. It doesn't hit me the same way that it hits a lot of people. But I get it. I understand it. I'm a fan of pop music. I understand it. But it's just not for me yet. I don't know. I certainly don't think I would listen to it to go to sleep to. I might have nightmares with some of these tunes. Anyway, moving right along. Here we go, Philip. This one's for Pam. We can't get away without having a Taylor Swift story, can we? But this is a sweet one. Taylor Swift was the inspiration for the names of several adorable four-legged friends up for adoption in Tennessee. Up right by you. You could go pick up a Taylor Swift-inspired pet for Pam. The Williamson County Animal Center received a generous donation from the singer. So I named 4 mixed-breed puppies after her music. The Franklin, Tennessee Rescue shared photos of the 4 black and white puppies, who are 3 months old now, and revealed they were named Carolina, Bejeweled, Midnight Rain, and Willow. They went on to say, we recently received a generous donation from legendary singer-songwriter Taylor Swift. While all the Swifties know Taylor loves cats, we hope she won't mind that we named our newest adoptable puppies after her songs, they said on a Facebook statement. Midnight Rain and Willow have already found loving homes. The rescue believes it won't be long before their sisters find their forever families. The shelter invited anyone interested in adopting Carolina and Bejeweled to submit an application on their website. They went on to say, we are very grateful for Taylor's support of our shelter, which serves the pets of Williamson County through adoption, spay and neuter, enforcement, microchips, rabies clinics, and paw pantry. This isn't the first time an animal shelter was named after Taylor. Last month, the Beth's Furry Friends Shelter in New York City revealed they named a special needs kitten after her because she made a sizable donation to help save more lives, and that kitten's name was Angel Taylor. So there you go. Another one that is, love her or hate her, but she's awesome for doing things like this. And many, many other philanthropic ventures that she goes on. Another one whose music doesn't hit me the same. I get it. I understand the formula is there, but it just doesn't hit me the same. But good for her. Dr. Taylor. Dr. Taylor. All right, that's what's going on in the news. We're going to take another musical break here. When we come back, we're going to get into some celebrity birthdays and some on this day music history. Got some good ones there. And then got some shameless plugs for you. And then we'll get you on with this moist Monday out there on the Treasure Coast and the Palm Beaches. You're listening to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. We'll be right back. Here's one from John McDonald. This is Code Rum. Yep, that's right. One of our sponsors and partners. Here we are. We'll be right back.
Everybody got a code of life they live by every day. Down in the Keys we have a whole new way of thinking. Every sunset is a calling for a mojito holiday. Any reason for a party we'll be bringing, like a pirate singing out cold rum, living life as it comes. Every little thing will be alright. Cold rum, take your place in the sun, get your pirate on, free your spirit tonight. If you wake up on a Monday thinking that your Friday's out of sight, remember rules are for the breaking, and you're a pirate in the making. Everybody's singing out, oh, rum, living life as it comes. Every little thing will be alright. Oh, rum, take your place in the sun, get your pirate on, free your spirit tonight. We're diving into life, deep as an ocean, soaking up the sunset for Kokomo to Boca Raton. Tonight is right to get the music in motion. The good times are coming on. The good times are coming on.
All right, there we are. John McDonald, Code Rum. Now I'm thirsty. Now I'm looking for some Code Rum. Have to hit up old Johnny Ringo from the Code Rum Company and see if I can't get a nice bottle of key lime rum there. Code Rum. Speaking of Code Rum, they are a wonderful sponsor and partner here in the JNC world. So they actually just finished last weekend or the weekend before. Oh, God, it's all running together. But they just came back from their inaugural Pirates and Parrot Heads Party in Paradise cruise to Grand Bahama Island aboard the Margaritaville at Sea, featuring a wonderful collection of artists, including John McDonald, who you just heard, and Jesse Rice, who you heard earlier on. They were both featured on that cruise, plus others. It was a great time. I had to miss it because duty calls, but I will certainly be ready for the next one when that comes about. You could find all those pictures on social media, I'm sure. You can just check out Code Rum on Facebook or Instagram and see it all there. All right, let's get into some celebrity birthdays. There's only a few today. But as always, I'm going to read the description of these people and how old they're turning, and you can have a little guess in the chats and comments, or if you're listening on Shore Life Radio or JNC Radio, you just can play to yourself. Play with yourself. You have permission for this segment. All right. Turning 59 years old today. She's an actress known for her Emmy and Golden Globe winning role as Olivia Benson on Law & Order SVU. She also starred in the films Leaving Las Vegas and Lake Placid. Who's turning 59 years old today? The beautiful and very talented Mariska Hargitay. There she is. Lovely lady. And really intense performances on Law & Order. Which, by the way, Law & Order, the greatest show in syndication because of the way that they run them together. You watch one episode from front to back, you get sucked right into the next one. They don't even give you any reprieve, no commercial. It's just like, boom, end, and then bum, you're into the next episode. And they hook you right in. Great stuff. Happy birthday, Mariska. I like her name. All right, next up in our celebrity birthday list, turning 49 years old today. This actress played Kelly Kapowski on the television series Saved by the Bell and portrayed Valerie Malone on Beverly Hills 90210. Her acting earned her Young Artist Award nominations in 1990, 92, and 93. And she's still, at 49 years old, cute as a button. Love her. Who's turning 49? It's Tiffany Thiessen. Some of us may remember her as Tiffany Amber Thiessen. She goes by Tiffany Thiessen these days, 49 years old. Happy birthday, Tiffany. And we have a local celebrity birthday. As a member of the Leafy Greens band duo with her husband, Billy. She's celebrating her birthday today. It's Ellen. Ellen from the Leafy Greens band is celebrating her birthday today. I'm not going to put out there how old she is, but she's young and lovely. So there you go. Happy birthday to our celebrity birthdays out there. All right. I found some of these kind of fun. These are some on this day back in music history. We'll go back to 1991. If you remember 1991, John Sebastian, the owner and general manager of KLSK FM in Albuquerque, New Mexico, played Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven for 24 solid hours to inaugurate a format change to classic rock. Well, guess what? The police showed up with guns drawn after one listener reported that the DJ had apparently suffered a heart attack with his hand on the repeat button. And later, because of suspicion that this being 8 days into the Gulf War, the radio station had been taken hostage by terrorists dispatched by Zeppelin freak Saddam Hussein. Neither of those are true. But nonetheless, it made history, headline news and history back in 1991. All over a ploy to celebrate a format change. Just a little bit earlier on this day, back in 1988, a little band known as Nirvana recorded a 10-song demo with Seattle producer Jack Endino, and Sub Pop Records boss Jonathan Poneman heard the tape and offered to put out a Nirvana single. And the rest, as you know, is history with Nirvana, but you never think of Nirvana as an 80s band, do you? The truth is, they started out there in the 80s. Hard to believe, but I'm glad to see Dave Grohl still going strong with the Foo Fighters, even after the untimely passing of Taylor Hawkins, of course, the drummer of the Foo Fighters. But yeah, back in 1988 is when it all got started for Nirvana. Crazy stuff. And finally, on this day history, on this day back in 1956, rock and roll fans in Cleveland aged under 18 were banned from dancing in public unless accompanied by an adult, after Ohio police introduced a law dating back to 1931. Could you imagine a time where you just weren't allowed to dance? Somehow this feels like how the inspiration for the film Footloose got started. Crazy stuff. How the times have changed. There you go. On this day back in 1956, that was the case. And there you have it, friends. Your breaking headlines for the day. Now we'll move into some shameless plugs real quick before we get you on to the start of your week. Albeit a wet one out there if you're here in South Florida. What do we got you looking out for? As mentioned earlier on in the program, the Jams and Cocktails live podcast is coming up this Wednesday at 8 p.m. I know that we said that Victoria Lee was going to be joining us, but she's pushed her episode back to next week. So this week, on Wednesday, it's National Florida Day. So we're going to be celebrating an ode to Florida Man. If you don't know about Florida Man, go ahead and use the Google brain and Google some Florida Man things and stories. We'll be perhaps reenacting some of these things and certainly telling some stories, and we'll most likely be looking the part. So join us this Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, for the Jams and Cocktails live podcast. It will be broadcast everywhere you're listening to this show right now. You'll hear it and or see it right where you're watching. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the visual fun. And, of course, you can hear the show on Shore Life Radio or JNC Radio, wherever you listen to those stations. All right. Speaking of our radio stations, I once again like to say thank you to Shore Life Radio for broadcasting our morning show and our Wednesday shows. Welcome to the family. Check out our friends and partners at the Drums and Rums podcast. Paul Robertson hosting that. They drop their podcasts on Tuesdays and their live stream on YouTube at 8 p.m. on Thursdays. So check that out, their biggest happy hour and a half hour. That's a fun show as well. You can find links to that at jncpodcast.com. A shout out to our partners and sponsors at Code Rum. You just heard the song about Hop Life Brewing, the Sneaky Tiki in downtown Stewart, the Bug Juice, Bug Repellent, and skincare products. Chesser Custom Designs, laser etching and engraving, bradbrockdesign.com for all of your graphic and audio and video editing needs. You can send me a message there and we'll get your project done. LearnToLiveAboard.com, the best blog that you'll read if you've ever considered living aboard a sailboat. It comes from my friends Brett and Kim. They've been on their boat for 15 years, so they got a pretty good grip on what it takes. So if you've ever thought about it, go to LearnToLiveAboard.com and check out their blog. I will be performing my one-man band show tonight at the Blue Point Bar and Grill in Tequesta, Florida. If you're in the area and weather permitting, come and hang out with me. I'll be there from 5 to 8 p.m. tonight, doing my thing. Also, the JNC Destruction Crew are the official entertainment hosts of this year's Arts Fest at Gazebo Park in downtown Stewart, going on February 11th and 12th, which is a Saturday and Sunday, respectively. From 10 to 5 each day, we'll be introducing all the live music on stage all weekend. We'll be there to meet and greet and give away some JNC swag. General admission's $5 each day to get in. 18 and under get in for free. And it's going to be a great time. We hope that you come out and see us one of those days or both of them. We'd love to hang out with you guys for sure. And if you love what we do, consider becoming a patron of ours on our Patreon page. It's $5 a month, and it helps us offset some of the costs of doing business. And we certainly enjoy your support any way that you can. As I always say, if you can, do. If you can't, share. So you could share all our stuff with your friends and family. If you join our Patreon page, you'll get some exclusive behind-the-scenes footage and other exclusive content there as well. And that does it for my shameless plugs. I'm going to get you back on with your day and to the start to your week. Thank you so much for joining me here this morning on Jams and Coffee. Hope you learned something. Whatever you do out there, do it with a smile and be kind to one another. Don't forget your wellies and your raincoats and your umbrellas if you're here in the South Florida area. It's going to be a wet one. Broadcasting live from the legendary JNC Lounge, I'm Brad Brock. And we'll see you next time tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., right here on Jams and Coffee. Bye-bye.
Tune in again tomorrow morning for the latest local buzz, national headlines, music news, and more on JNC in the Morning, right here on Facebook and YouTube.